hear from Dr. Bird. All right, good job, Dr. Bird. Now tell me, when you were up on the roof, what were you thinking?
I'm not sure if I was thinking much of anything, just to get down safely in one piece, but it was very nice, beautiful view.
All right, now compared to how you felt up there, how do you feel now?
Terrific that I'm on solid ground.
Part of our Christian heritage, and more specifically our Anglican heritage, is making sure that we show care and concern for others. Now, care for the homeless has been in our DNA for quite some time now. When I was the middle school chaplain, Project Empathy started. And that was a project that focused on homelessness awareness and different ways to combat homelessness. So Over the Edge, since it focuses on homelessness awareness as well, is very consistent with our mission and very consistent with what we do programmatically here at All Saints.
Project Empathy has had a significant impact on the All Saints community in several ways. Primarily because I think it reemphasizes our mission from the standpoint of our nurturing Christian environment, where we intend each and every one of our people, not just students, but people, to sort of ingest the gospel of committing to altruistic behavior. So, to whom much has been given, much is expected. That's the gospel imperative from Luke. And I believe Project Empathy is an embodiment of that.
Well, first of all, Project Empathy, our motto is learn, serve, change. So all through our project, and it started out where it was just an 8-week project, but now we've turned it into a full year because we felt like it wasn't right just to serve 8 weeks out of the year.
Project Empathy started with an idea that came from one of our teachers who was at church on a Sunday morning, and the sermon was about empathy.
Ron Hall and Denver Moore had written the book, same kind of different as me, and then they've since had another book called What Difference Do It Make? And we were so very fortunate that first year to be able to personally interview them in their home. And I took 5 students from our Student Leadership Committee, SLAC, and took them to their home, and we got to interview them. When I say interview, I think Denver did most of the talking. And
if you read the book, it's all about
wow,
them.
what an amazing, both of them, amazing men. That's what we wanted to teach the students too. Our very first year, we wanted to teach them that it was easy to serve and that they could figure it out and learn how to do it on their own. And I think they are learning. Mm-hmm. They're learning and they're experiencing and they're wanting to go back on their own, and that's wonderful.
Historically, when I was the middle school chaplain, I played a very central role in that. Working with the kids, we looked at the theology behind why do we care about the homeless. We looked at different practical ways for us to support the homeless. Can we do clothing drives? Can we go work with organizations like the Presbyterian Night Shelter that are on the front lines helping the homeless and providing support to the homeless. So, you know, when I served as middle school chaplain, that was a critical part of our work together.
The idea was something that we needed at the time, because at the time we were fragmented into our community service projects with the kids, because everybody was doing something different, just trying to get the hours, and we felt
we go out and serve in the community, and we do donation and collection drives, and then we end it with an overnight experience. Every year our overnight experience is different. My goal, my challenge is to make it different every year, and we have a different focus every year. But during our overnight, we have activities to try to put ourselves in the shoes of somebody who's homeless. We'll never truly understand what it's like to be homeless, but for just a small moment, they're grateful that they have a place to go afterwards, and they, for a small moment, do understand what it might be like to be homeless and not have a nice bed to sleep in.
For one night, it's like throwing you into an ice bucket of water. It's a shocking venture to go out there and spend the night in a cardboard box under, this past year, was horrible conditions. It was, the wind must have been gusting 40 to 50 miles an hour with temperatures at around 40. So the wind chill factor was in the mid-20s. It was brutal, and I go, I'm not going to do it again. This is it. And my faculty is sleeping out in these cardboard boxes. 4 o'clock in the morning. I got to do. Then when we go around the ring road, I go, okay, we'll do it again. We'll do it again.
One student. If we can make or change the attitude of just one student, then we've done our job. And
I think that's the cornerstone of Project Empathy, is the student interaction with the Union Gospel Mission or the Presbyterian Night Shelter.
I know that some years I get really overwhelmed.
Yes, it does.
And I feel a little burnout sometimes because I run out of ideas. And it's amazing that every year somebody new comes into our lives to help us have a focus.
That's why we feel it's important that we start making it not only the middle school DNA, but make it towards the entire All Saints community. And I think that's part of the over the top over the edge, excuse me, is to have the awareness of what we've been doing for 5 years.
And the part that I frankly wrestled with at the outset is that I was very proud of the fact that our kids and our faculty started this without trying to gain any attention. And so to me it's not about that. It's more putting the focus on what's most important, and that is the issue of homelessness. And so my hope is that the greater awareness is not one of an immediate high beam light, but it's a sustained light on this.
Project Empathy was a program that focused on making sure that all of us learn more about the plight of homelessness in Tarrant County. And that's the exact same thing that Over the Edge is trying to do as well. So they're very similar with regard to their final goal.
So that's really what led to the Over the Edge piece, is that when she put it in those terms, I said, okay, well, our primary motive was not to perhaps advertise All Saints' role with this so much as it was to make sure our young people knew the importance of giving back, and giving back for the right reasons. And frankly, giving back to those who are most less fortunate, not just a portion of our population, but those who are in that category. Well, the boxes that our upper school students have put together, it really in such short order is nothing short of remarkable. What I've often said about All Saints is that there is this inherent culture of philanthropy. It's in our DNA, and I've been so heartened from everyone, really primarily the students set the model, but then the parents embody it, and so do the faculty and all involved, of finding ways to give back. And so when this was announced, in just 3 days, we had over 230 boxes of materials. But the Over the Edge piece would allow a larger audience to be drawn into the importance of this, and frankly, when you have 26% of those homeless are in the category of children, and in real numbers that's over 550. These kids don't have a choice. These are ones who are not able to shelter or clothe themselves or feed themselves. So that's really the bridge, if you will, between what we had been doing with Project Empathy and the Over the Edge component.
The event is about drawing awareness to homelessness, and even though it is fun and nerve-wracking, and I'm sure a lot of jokes will be made on our behalf, the overall event is to raise awareness for homelessness, and I think we've done a great job of that internally here at the school, but our mission, of course, is to bang that drum loudly throughout the city of Fort Worth to raise awareness within our community. And I think this is a great platform to do that.
Yes, I've heard some rumor that there may be a couple of additional saints, and I'm really not at liberty to say who, because I don't know who they would be.
The student body does not know that I'm going over the edge. I have the honor of being one of the secret saints. So one of the folks that has been invited to do this, but the rest of the community doesn't know yet. So I'm kind of excited about having that as well. It's going to be a surprise. Any opportunity I have to represent the good people of All Saints out in the community is probably one of the best things I do. One of the most fun parts of my job. So,
well, how will I mentally prepare for Saturday's event is really, that may be the lowest hanging fruit here. Fairly simple question, because the way I address very tough situations, I typically don't think about them. I use that.
Quite frankly, I haven't even thought about it yet. I'm focused on the week and living one day at a time. And Saturday morning, I'll wake up and dig deep and go down to downtown Fort Worth and scale a building or rappel from the top of a building.
Okay, well, let's make this very clear. Whose idea was it for me to go over the edge? You know, most people would probably define me as having dropped off the edge many years ago, but it was not my idea to do so. I have to give credit to Ms. Stacy Pierce, our Director of Marketing and Missions, who's engaged in this activity before with other very noteworthy, outstanding organizations to draw attention to wonderful community projects.
You got me into this, and what am I going to do to get back to them? Well, as a priest, I generally frown on revenge. So I think what I will do is thank them for the opportunity. Who got me into this would be Dr. Bird and Mrs. Pierce. Both of them have been very enthusiastic about this project, and both of them have been very encouraging about the project. We could not have done it without their leadership and without their support. So I think we all owe them a thank you for allowing us to do a program like this.
Probably the closest thing I've come to scaling down from that height would be a filming box that was probably about 8 stories high, with only a ladder on the side of a light pole. I used to have to scale up and down that, so just another day in the office, really.
I've climbed rocks. I've climbed cliffs. Back in the day when I had more of an ego and was challenged by other adolescents to scurry up a hill, but no, I've never quite done this.
The first step is probably the most difficult one to take. The first step is a doozy, probably. But I don't know, rappelling is going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting, I think. I'm looking forward to the view. I think the view in rappelling is probably one of the coolest things to really look around and kind of see the sights from a spot that you normally don't get to see it from. So that's kind of what comes to mind when I think about rappelling.
I'm a karate man. I bruise on the inside, so I won't show tears outwardly. Might wear an adult diaper, but no one will know that but me. It takes that, but I'll be there right beside him to guide him, our fearless leader, to the ground. So
he'll be a mush. He'll be a mush. A weepy little babe.
You ready for tomorrow?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
No, I'm not. We'll sleep on it, and we'll see. Will you give me a wake-up call?
I will.
Come pick me
Are you
up?
gonna be there? Are you gonna go?
Thank you, Coach.